Hey, so today we're doing a holiday look, but I figured I'd let you know I went ahead and did my brows because I didn't want to keep you guys here forever. And I used the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Duo in the shade Granite, but I used that lightest shade. And now I'm going to zoom in like a creep because we're going to get to the good stuff. I'm going to start off using the Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer in the shade L1. I'm using this to prime my lids because, I don't know, I've really been loving it to prime my lids with, especially since this is a little bit light. It may actually match me now that it's like winter basically, but in the summer it was way too light. And I'm using this beauty blender. It's the micro one to blend this in. But yeah, basically I've really been liking this as an eyeshadow primer, especially since I do have some creasy ass lids and it kind of just doesn't make them look so crepey. It's like, but it works well as a primer. I don't know, I like it, so that's what I'm using. We're going to be using the Metal Matte or Matte Metal, I think it's Metal Matte palette by Kat Von D for this look, which I'm super obsessed with. And I'm going to start off using the shade Bone to, what am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm setting the area. That's what I'm doing. I'm just going to set this with that Bone shade and it'll make our lives a whole lot easier when we're trying to blend later or right now. You'll see. Next, using a fluffy brush, we're going to go into the shade Moss, as in Kate. And we're going to apply this very lightly. We're going to start in the outer corner of the lid, just because this is a super dark color. And what I'm trying to do here is create a really light green transition shade. And since we're going to be covering up the lid, I'm going to place it in my outer corner because you're not going to see it later anyways, and then start working it into the crease area. And this is going to be our transition shade. Since there is no light green shade in the palette, I just really wanted more of a transition shade. So this is what we're going to be using. So I just keep going back and forth with this, blending it out, little circular motions in the crease, a little bit above the crease. And then whenever I need extra color, instead of going back in the palette, I try to pull from that outer corner area and just keep blending and blending and blending until I get kind of a transition shade. Now I'm realizing I kind of needed to wax my eyebrows. Anyways, moving on, I'm going to be taking this Sigma E25 brush and I'm going to use that same moss color or shade, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to place this all over my lid. I'm not using a super dense brush for this just because I don't really want to pack it on super heavy. I just want to get a nice green wash onto my lid because we'll be putting a metallic shade over it and I just wanted that green undertone. I'm going to go back in and deepen my crease area using this crease brush, which is my favorite of life. I believe it's by The Balm, and the same moss shade, and I'm just blending this into my crease and starting to kind of blend that out. I'm not going too crazy here because I don't want to look like just like, you know, I have huge green dark circles around my eyes, although that would be cool too, but that's just not the look we're going for. And also I'm giving myself a little boundary, so when we apply the metallic shade coming up, I know where to stop and I'm not going to go past it because I don't know, because I just get way carried away if I don't do this. Anyways, next we're going into the shade Watt on this flat this is actually a concealer brush, but it's just a flat brush. Any flat brush will do. And I sprayed it with a little bit of the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray to amp up that metallic look. And I'm going to be packing this all over my lid. I did use a couple layers of this, and I'm just placing it all over my lid, just up, like barely touching the crease area. You can see there it touches it, but it doesn't go past. I mean, your eyeball's not going to fall out or anything if you go past the crease, so don't worry too much about it. I just use that boundary I set earlier and just go up to that and then stop. Anyways, here we are using that same crease brush we used earlier with that moss shade, and we're blending this into the crease area and making sure the matte and the metallic kind of mesh well together. We don't want any of that weird harsh line where the matte doesn't really blend with the mesh, and you know. And then as the product starts leaving the brush, I go ahead and start blending it outwards. And definitely make sure the product has left the brush before you do this because it can get crazy if there's too much product on the brush. But yeah, just keep blending and you'll be good, I promise. For the inner corner, I'm going to be using the shade Flash, which is a super amazing gold shade. I'm going to be using a detailer brush with a little bit, again, of that makeup setting spray by Urban Decay. I'm going to be placing this in the inner corner and I'm going to start blending it a little bit into that green shade just so there's not a weird line there. You can see kind of how it's not exactly blended right now, but we're making it happen. So just start in the corner and then work your way in, I guess is my best advice. And I switched brushes to a denser brush, one that I felt worked a little bit better. And then I'm going into the shade Tinsel, which is this really amazing metallic silver shade. And I just felt like the gold was a little too orangey and warm tone for my taste. You know me. And so I used a little bit of that silver to kind of pat over it, and it kind of gave it that silvery gold look, which was really cool. And then I just decided that I was going to make it fade. So I took the silver and faded it into more of that teal. So it goes gold to silver to teal. I don't know. I got carried away. But what can you do? Anyways, eyeliner time. We're going to be using the Kat Von D Tattoo eyeliner, and it's just the black shade. I think it's called Trooper. And you can see here that I failed at staying in frame, but we kind of made it work in the end. Just do your wing however you do it. I usually try to make an outline first, and then I go ahead and fill it in. Just like my eyeshadow, if I don't have an outline, I get way too carried away. Then I'm going to be tight lining using the Sephora retractable waterproof liner. It's the best ever to tight line with because it doesn't transfer. Then I'm using the Better Than Sex mascara to apply mascara. Next, I'm going to go through my face really quickly. I'm using the IT Cosmetics CC cream in the shade Fair and this super clean beauty blender, aka extremely dirty, and it is dry. I prefer a dry beauty blender in the dry months because I have really dry skin. That's a lot of dry in one sentence. But anyways, it works way better for me. For some reason, a wet beauty blender always leaves me with dry patches everywhere. So give it a try if you have dry skin and let me know what you think if you do, because I love to hear. For concealer, I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Naked Skin in the shade Light for my dark circle areas, and then everywhere else, I'm going to be loading up on my favorite concealer of life, which is the NARS Chantilly Concealer. I'm going to blend it all out using that same beauty blender, like so, in turbo speed. I wish I could do it this fast in real life. Then I'm setting it using the Tarte Smooth Operator powder. I don't know what I did, but it was getting everywhere, literally all over in my mouth. That's what she said. Anyways, but that's was for all. Anyways, going back to eyes is what we're going to focus on now. Let's get our perverted minds away. And we're going to be using the shade Moss. I'm just dabbing into this because, again, we're going to start creating more of a transition shade. I'm going to run this on my lower lash line area using a Sigma E25 brush. And this is obviously really light because I want to slowly build up this color. If you just start slobbing it on all over the place, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't blend out as easy, or it just doesn't look as smooth, or, you know, there's harsh lines, as YouTubers would say. I don't know. What I do from here is I always grab a more detailed type of brush and just kind of pack on the shade from here. Now that we have our transition shade down, we can pack on a little bit more. And then I always go back though to that Sigma E25 or whatever you're using to blend it out, and blend out the shade between your detailer brushes, because here you can see I keep getting closer and closer to the lash line because we really want to smoke that out. But you really want to make sure it's a blended out look, because I don't know, there's nothing worse than a harsh line in your lower lash line that just looks like a hot mess. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Then I'm going to be using this NYX eyeliner. It's this green metallic eyeliner. I'll list everything down in the description box, but I'm just lining my waterline with this, and then using a little detailer brush, just going, since this is such a smudgy pencil, I just kind of smudged it out a little bit. And then going back into that Moss shade, I'm going back and just doing more and more blending. I know you probably hate me right now, but anyways, going back into the shade Flash, we're gonna just make sure we pack that onto the inner corner and get it a little bit on that lower lash line too, and just make sure it's nice and blended out. Then going into the shade Linen, which is this white shade, we're going to use this on the brow bone and just blend it out. I thought a matte brow bone would look really cool with a metallic lid, so that's what I did. And I just used it to kind of blend out everything. I was like, oh, I like how that blended that out. I'm also gonna put on the lower lash line, so that's what I did. Putting some mascara on my lower lash line, moving on to bronzer. Using the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Kit in this lightest bronzer shade. Bronzer? What is bronzer? I don't know, but it's bronzer. Putting it in my usual places, right below my cheekbones, and of course underneath my chin. But don't bring it up too far, because then you'll look like you got a beard, unless that's the look you're going for. Then I'm moving on to blush, which is the Sigma Serene Blush. Is my favorite of life. Y'all know this if you've watched my channel before. And of course my favorite highlighters of life, which Becca Cosmetics in the shade Pearl and Champagne Pot? What am I even saying anymore? I don't even know. Champagne Pop and Pearl. Putting that all over my cheekbones. Moving on to lashes. I'm using these lashes by House of Lashes. Dang it, what are these called? Knockout lashes? I think they're called knockout lashes, and I love them. For lips, I'm going to be using Lime Crime's Velveteen in the shade Wicked. I am just behind. I almost out of breath, y'all. Anyways, first what I do is I outline my lips using a brush, and then I go ahead and fill it in using the applicator. And this is the final look. You are now ready to go to the most holiday parties, or you can just party in front of Netflix, because you know that's what I'm doing. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up, say hey girl hey down in the comments box, because you know I love talking to you. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.